Hi everyone, welcome back to our learning of the Mishnah on Shabbat. We're in chapter 9, and the first few mishnayot of chapter 9 we said kind of took a slight diversion, had to do with topics that asked a certain question and used certain verses as proof, and it was on all kinds of different topics. Now we're getting back to what we were doing before we had that little detour. So now we're back to the amount and the quality of something that makes it so that it is significant enough. It's something that would be likely that one would want to store, one would want to keep, and therefore one is liable for carrying on Shabbat. Okay, so up to Mishnah number 5 in chapter 9. Hamotzi eitzim kedei levashel beitza kala, dvalin kedei letabel beitza kala, umitzterafin zeim ze. One who takes out wood is liable if he takes out enough to cook an egg that's easily cooked. Condiments or spices enough to season an easily seasoned egg. So the wood would be a small amount that can cook an egg that is either small or just cooks easily, or enough to season an egg. And they may be combined with one another. So meaning spices, because they all kind of serve the same function, they're to add seasoning to the food. If you have not enough of each spice to constitute the required amount, but if you add them together, it equals the amount that one's liable for. That would be enough to season an egg, let's say. Therefore, you would be liable. So they can combine because even though they're unique things, they're all in the same category and therefore combine. Okay? Klipe egozim, klipe rimonin, isatis ufua kedei litzboa bahen beged katan bisvacha. So the shells of nuts or pomegranate shells or woad or madder, enough to dye the smallest cloth in a headdress. So this is just these are different things that we get dyes from, and an amount that could actually dye this very small article of clothing would constitute enough that it's the quality and quantity that one might want to keep it, one might want to store it, and therefore one could be liable for carrying it. Me raglaim neter uvorit kimonya the ashlag kidei lechabes bahen beged katan bisvacha. Urine, nitter, soap, saltwort, and eshlag. So some things that soap we're familiar with, and then also using urine as a cleansing agent. Maybe we're not so familiar with. And the other three, not sure exactly what they are. Different cleansing agents at the time, things they would use to clean cloth and clothing and other things. Enough to launder with them the smallest cloth, such as this headdress that we said before, would constitute enough to make one liable for carrying it. So these are all different types of cleaners. Is it enough to clean something very small, and therefore it's actually a usable amount, and therefore one would be liable for having it? Rabbi Yehuda Omer kedei lehavir al haketem. So Rabbi Yehuda says enough to pass over a stain. So he's saying a smaller quantity. He's saying enough to test out on the stain. This process where you would try different substances to see if it works on a stain. He's saying even enough to do that would make one liable. Okay, that's Mishnah 5. Now we're on 6 Vav. Pil pelet kol shehu, v'itran kol shehu, minei v'samim u'minei matachot kol shehen. So pepper, any amount. And now we're dealing with. So we just said in the last Mishnah we said spices, seasoning for cooking. Now we're dealing with things that are for their fragrance, and we're going to say smaller amounts, which is pepper. For pepper here, it's any amount. So really small, any amount, because it still has its fragrance, or it could be used as some kind of like a mint would be used to freshen breath or something like that. Any small amount will have that effect. Therefore, any amount. V'itran tar, any amount, some kind of other tar being used for some kind of other medical remedy here. And then we said and types of spices and types of metals, any amount. Okay. Me'avnei hamizbeach u'me'afar hamizbeach mekek sefarim u'mekek mitpechotehem kol shehu shematni'in otan leganzan. So stones, altar stones, or altar earth, or decay of old scrolls, or decay of the wraps of the old scrolls, any amount for we put them away to save them. So these are all holy items, and therefore we want to dispose of them properly, or put them away in storage properly, because we can't use them anymore for their purpose. And therefore they need to be preserved, and therefore they have value in any amount, because we would want to make sure that they're treated with respect, no matter what the size is of these holy objects. And then kind of, I guess, the direct opposite of that in a certain sense is the next clause here of this Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Af hamotzi misham she avodat kochavim kol shehu, shene'emar velo yidbak biyadcha me'uma min hacherem. So now Rabbi Yehuda says, also one who takes out accessories, objects of idolatry, any amount. So it's kind of the opposite. We had holy objects, important things, and now we have things of idolatry. In any amount, one will be liable, for it's stated, nothing of that which is banned shall cleave to your hand. So you don't want to have any amount, even the smallest thing that's of avodah zarah, that is a idolatrous object, and therefore you want to take it out to get rid of it. So it's a benefit to you. You're getting that out of your house. You're getting it away. This thing that you don't want to have, that you want to dispose of, and therefore also a problem in any amount, according to Rabbi Yehuda. So that seems to suggest that it would not be according to the rest of the rabbis. So maybe we'll see in another place a different solution to that. Okay, great. So that is the end of Mishnah 6 of chapter 9, and then we have we'll do one more. We have one long one to end chapter 9 next week. Okay, bye everyone.